があるとマイクみたいになりたい。でも電話してくれない。オークランドとブックレンドから世界チャンピオンバーチャルプローズ始まるよ。バーチャルプローズ。
To my motherfucking man, 50 grand, the alcoholic man, inject a tall can in his bloodstream if he can. Biggie Smalls, the 50 stroker, MC provoker, chocolate tie smoker, huh? I like to max and Maximas and Acuras. Your girl butt cheeks, I'm smacking, huh? The raw rapper, spine snapper, with the little, cause all my lap a shot, the ball, I ain't your fucking comforter. And if I ever fall in love, I bet I'm fucking her. Ask the if I didn't choke her. If she try to front, then I drop the Chucky Booker on.
Episode 112 of that World Champion Sound Virtual Pros podcast. My name is Al, aka Henny Omega, and with me is my main oos, Mike.
Arigato! Arigato!
Hey, what's up, motherfuckers? It is Mike, aka Wavy Boy Smith. We'll get to that little sound clip later on in the show, but I just wanted to get it out of the way.
I'm so glad you did that for me, Mike. I appreciate it. I remember last night seeing that for the very first time and just fucking creasing in embarrassment. But yeah, we will talk about that later on the good old world famous mixtape segment, which is at the end of the show. Hit us at Instagram and Twitter at VRTLPros. If you want to submit any recommendations for the mixtape or participate, you can hit us at virtualpros64@gmail.com. We also have a Discord. We're always in there talking about video games and wrestling, which is two big parts of my life at least. And what else do we got? Oh, hit us on iTunes and Spotify as well. I'm assuming you're doing either of those because you're listening to us right now. But we got some emails, Mike. And it's been a little while since we've talked, so
it's been about a month.
Starting off with that first one.
Yeah, it's been about a month, so they're a little scattered around. So the first one is from Eric. Forgotten game styles you'd like to bring back. Pros. I've been enjoying the video game chat lately, so I thought I'd add to the discussion. One of my favorite games of all time is Def Jam Fight for New York, and I know I'm not alone. It was the party game of the year when it came out, but it had enough of a skill ceiling that super nerdo fighting game tournaments like CEO have Fight for New York side tournaments to this day. It floors me that there aren't really any other games like it nowadays. The closest thing I could think of is Yakuza's Coliseum battles, which are awesome, but I would really like a game like this that I could just pick up and play without having to fight through like 40 hours of a different game first. I really think that even without the Def Jam license, a game like this with a cool original roster, cool stages, cool moves, and a robust creative fighter mode could be a big hit. But I guess Def Jam icon and years of shitty WWE games are proof that not just anyone can recreate the Aki Corporation magic. Are there any semi-forgotten game styles that you would like to see come back? Much love, Eric. It's pretty crazy because I was expecting this game style to come back last week when they revealed the PS5. And they showed a game that's sort of like it, but I'm pretty ready for car combat to come back, like Twisted Metal and shit like that. I don't even I know I watched a YouTube video about it and it went away because it was just like oversaturated and there's too many shitty games versus actual good games. But it's been a long enough time, and I think it's time to bring it back. If they can't do Twisted Metal, do something like Twisted Metal. The PlayStation 5 they showed I already forgot the name. It's like Destruction something. Is that right?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, it's like Destruction something. And it was like a dubstep car combat game that also somehow mixed in parkour. So that's that's promising, but I'd rather just have fucking bullets and missiles and crazy finishing moves and stuff like that in my car combat games. But yeah, that is definitely the forgotten game style that I am pretty shocked hasn't come back yet.
What was the main character? Sweet Tooth?
Yeah.
The ice cream truck? Damn, I do miss Twisted Metal. Since the only game I've been playing these days is Super Mega Baseball 3, I think we're due for like a new NBA Jam or any sort of like arcade sports game. I loved Street when it came out, and Part 2, but I feel like they've rebooted this like once or twice, but like it felt kind of flat. So maybe it's just time for a new Blitz. Just like go all the way with it.
They rebooted NBA Jam like 8 years ago now, and it sucked. And they did that NBA Playground that was just a couple years ago, and that also kind of sucked. And it's not like, it doesn't seem to be that hard of a formula. I don't know why they can't get it right.
Next email is from Colin, titled Odd Matchups. Hello, Mike and Al. My name's Colin, and one time oh, wait. Okay, edit this out. Hello, Mike and Al. I was talking in my wrestling group chat about how Japan tour the WWE did, Chris Jericho would get into a crowd argument with Takayama. Side note, if you've never seen the photo of Shibata, Takayama, and Kenta viewing an E-show with absolute disdain, I implore you to search it out. I don't think Jericho has ever explained his relationship with Takayama, but the idea of the match, especially with current bloated brawler Y2J, would be a dream to me. My question is, what current mainstream American stars would you like to see take on the legends of Japan? Peace, love, and crabs. Colin. This is a good question. I have not seen this photo, but I have seen a photo of Io Shirai. I think it was at Sumo Hall. She was at a WWE show, and there is a photo of her just sitting down while Roman Reigns is out there, and the whole crowd is just like going wild. But Io Shirai does not give a shit about Roman Reigns, so that's a pretty iconic photo to me personally. American stars faced off with current Japanese legends. Maybe a Orange Cassidy and Stoker Ichihawa would be kind of funny. I think I'd be down for that. What else? Oh, maybe a Nagata versus Matt Riddle. I'd be down for that as well. I don't know. I'm into the passing of the torch angle, clearly, so those are my two answers.
Yeah, I think it's pretty tough because most American stars that I like have been to Japan at this point, and the only ones that really aren't, I guess, Matt Riddle's a good answer because he never really went over there. And all of like the homegrown WWE people, not really that into because they're not really that great a wrestler. So, I mean, you could always throw Bray Wyatt over there. Bray Wyatt versus, is there any spooky old
Great
wrestler?
Muta, maybe?
Yeah, he's too broken down though. It's, who's that? No, fuck. Yeah, all the old spooky wrestlers are broken down old pieces of meat. So, at one point I was like, before I don't even know if he's canceled. I don't know what the fucking deal is. I know he's a piece of shit. But when Big Cass had his very short WWE run, I was like, he's like a very reckless kind of like all Japan style. So at one point I was like, I'd like to see Big Cass over in Japan, just being very sloppy with all his moves, all his reckless big beefy boy moves. But yeah, that's about it for me. Next email's from Ed from Pod Van Dam. That's Bunker. Hey, Virtual Pros boys. Our fat orange president incited riots by tweeting horrible shit about shooting unarmed civilians, then went and hid from protesters in a bunker like a coward. So my question is, do you think Vince has a bunker under WWE headquarters for similar reasons? Maybe he built it as a panic room in case Nails comes back for round 2. And if said bunker exists, does he let Bruce in if any rioting goes down? Or does he make Bruce fight off rioters with his black belt karate skills? Ed from Pod Van Dam, aka donate money to freedom funds that help pay protesters' fines. It's so crazy because I always imagine Vince McMahon as a pretty straightforward guy, but I think all signs do point to that. Like any story that ever comes out makes him sound like a real weirdo. But I don't know if he's that kind of weirdo where he would have panic rooms and stuff like that. But maybe he has like a whole like the Winchester house. Maybe he has like that whole setup where he just has like 37 different rooms under Titan Towers or something like that. But I don't know. I think Vince McMahon is too dumb and like too bold to have any kind of panic room. I think he just thinks he could fight anything that would come against him.
Am I missing something with Bruce Pritchard being a legitimate fighter, or is this new to me, or do you know anything about this?
No, he says, and it said Bunker exists. Does he let Bruce in if any rioting? No, like would he open the door if Bruce was banging on the door to come in because the rioting was happening?
But he says Bruce. Never mind. Who cares? if Vince McMahon did have a bug out bag, I would fucking love to see it. That'd be so fucking funny. I'm just curious, like, about what kind of food he'd have in there, etc., etc. I don't think he has a panic room. I think he's down with the shits, man. Have you heard that story about him asking Hawk and Animal to do the Doomsday device on him? Like, he loves getting fucked up, right? I think he's down with the shits, personally. That's just me. I don't know. Next email is from Surin, titled LBS Pounds? I don't know. What's up, Vertbags? Apologies if this has already been asked, but with New Japan poised to return, which wrestlers do you think will shock us with their post-lockdown bodies? Admittedly, I don't follow any Japanese wrestlers on social media, so I'm going in blind, but do you think Kota Ibushi will shock the world with his new dad bod? Maybe ZSJ shows up with a little beer belly. Not trying to body shame, just speaking from my own personal lockdown body experience. These are unprecedented times. These guys may have been enjoying time off, where they don't have to work out like maniacs for once in their lives. Who do you think could surprise us with some extra pounds? Thanks, as always, for the great content. Surin, a.k.a. bring back AKAs. You know what, maybe. It does feel kind of like unfun to start the show off, so we'll see. I don't know. Yeah. New Japan came back, and I think I had read that Tanahashi had gained and lost 20 pounds during these trying times. I couldn't tell. The only disappointing non-transformation that happened was that I thought Ishii would just grow it out, his hair. And he did it. He just fucking he just kept it pretty bald, and man, if he really like went for it with the fade, we'd be looking at a new champ, I'm convinced. But yeah, no one really changed over the break, I think, at least from a New Japan standpoint.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess maybe Al missed this photo, but Tanahashi posted a picture of a before and after picture of himself from allegedly 25 days. He lost 10 kilos in 25 days, which I believe is a little under 30 pounds, like 26 pounds or something like that. And I do not fucking believe this shit. He looks like a completely different person. Like, he's not fat, but he's definitely like a dude who used to work out that stopped working out fat. And then within 25 days, he's back to being jacked. And it's like, I don't believe this. He's in his 40s. Your body doesn't work like that when you're in your 40s. It's not like a weird steroid body. Like, I don't know, man. That dude must have just been fucking working out 24 hours a day for the past 25 days to get in that shape. So, yeah, it's worth seeking out that picture of Tanahashi, that before and after picture, because it's fucking ridiculous. But yeah, outside of that, even like, I think Minoru Suzuki looks he's starting to look a little more like an actual old man now. He's not fat, but you know, I was expecting Nagata to look kind of shitty, but he looks as good as he can at his ripe old age. I think he's in his like 70s or 80s. So, you know, he's looking good. So yeah, I'm pretty shocked at how quickly these dudes have gotten in shape. I did see the picture of Seth Rollins going around, but I think it was like one of those YouTube covers where they like Photoshop it just to make you look bad. Cause I haven't seen Seth Rollins, I think, since WrestleMania, but they showed like a picture of what he looked like before the quarantine and after, and it looks like he gained like 300 pounds. So I'm sure that's not true. I'm sure it's just one of those fucking YouTube things, but maybe him. But yeah, outside of that.
Yo, I know a lot of dads do it, and sympathy weight is like a for real thing. So I wouldn't be shocked if he just put on a couple pounds, which is cool because that guy, CrossFit Jesus. But you know, we need some time to ourselves sometimes. So
yeah,
I've seen the sympathy weight thing happen, man. It's a thing.
Next email is from Noah. It's called Reviving Rusev Day. Hey there, Virtual Pros. Although I'm not a huge WWE fan, I've always been a fan of Rusev. From his solid ring work to his great character work, such as Rusev Day. Since he was released, I came to realize all the possibilities for him if he returns to wrestling. What promotions do you guys think he could thrive in if he returns to wrestling? And are there any other wrestlers you'd love to see work with Rusev? Thanks for keeping it real. Take it easy, Vertbags. From Noah, a.k.a. Shinsuke Taco Bella, a.k.a. Tyler Sleaze. That's a good answer for somebody I'd like to see in Japan. Fighting old hounds. Like a good Rusev Jun Akiyama match. That'd be pretty good.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I know not everybody watches Impact, but they have this real kind of clickbaity commercial going now where they have like this fake news report and it shows all of these things hinting to everybody who got fired from WWE is now coming there. And somebody asked Rusev about it, and he was kind of wishy-washy about it, which makes me think he's actually going to Impact, but I don't know for sure. I think that dude is going to do amazing wherever he goes. I think that's definitely like probably out of everybody they let go, that's probably one of the hugest losses for WWE. I think that dude is menacing. He's good at wrestling, and he's like naturally funny. So he could really basically do anything. So I'm sure wherever he ends up is going to be it's going to be pretty great.
I would love to see him in New Japan, but I think for him to like achieve his full potential, like you had said, he's such a personality that I think he just do super good in AEW. So
yeah,
if he decides to sign with anybody, I hope it's there. Next email is from Alex G, titled Bix in Jail. Okay. Hey, pros, glad to have you back. I recently listened to GCW's Shoot interview with Nick Gage, and it was pretty underwhelming. Not sure if you saw this, but Gage had to answer a bunch of not-so-riveting questions until the interviewer asked him about David Bixenspan's chances in jail. I felt bad for Bix here, as Gage looked absolutely puzzled as to who Dave was, and then proceeded to bury him as a guy who would be taken advantage of, or a guy who was smart enough to own a Cheetos store in his cell. MDK membership revoked. My question is, if you had to be paired up with a wrestling journalist or insider, who would you choose to be as your cellmate? I feel it would have to be Dave Meltzer for his pipes and his star ratings of prison fights, or maybe karate master Brian Alvarez, if he didn't braid his hair like a white girl in high school who came back from an all-inclusive trip to the DR. Interested to hear other candidates. But seriously, fuck the prison system, and thanks for the entertainment during this Virtual Pros off-season. Alex, a.k.a. Deuce Deuce Bigelow, a.k.a. Mr. Beanie Siegel, a.k.a. Austin Powers of Pain, a.k.a. Gary Hayabusa. I saw a clip of Nick Gage. He was asked about Animal Crossing, and he wanted no part of that question. And I thought that was pretty funny, but I didn't really hear anything else from that Shoot interview that seemed worth checking out. If I had to pick a wrestling journalist cellmate, maybe Fumi from Pacific Rim. I've seen a good amount of prison movies, and you got to click up with your own. So I think Fumi and I would try to join some Asian chapter in the can, and I think that'd be my best chance to survive in prison. How about you, Mike?
You would have to pick Dave Meltzer just because, I mean, he's the only one I know that has the guns. So, he'd probably get kind of weird being in prison with Dave Meltzer though. He talks a lot and, maybe keeps to himself though. As far as that Nick Gage interview, I did watch some of it, and I am one of those people, I've said before, I don't really like Shoot interviews, but, they're like, I know the majority of people want to see this, but they're really trying to like doggofy him, like make him doggo friendly. And I don't like that shit.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't really like that. I don't want Nick Gage to answer questions about what his favorite ice cream and what he thinks Animal Crossing is. Like I said, I know the majority of people are into stuff like that, but I think it like ruins a lot of mystique. And just from watching, I watched about a half an hour of it because I thought it was a half an hour, and then I checked the time and it said 2 hours, and I was like, I do not need to watch this for 2 hours. And even in other interviews I've seen with him, he's like the only way I can describe it is he's like a very real person. Like he doesn't have a switch that he turns on and becomes Nick Gage. Like he's just Nick Gage, and he doesn't seem interested in answering stupid questions. It seems like he doesn't even understand why anybody would want him to answer stupid questions. So it just makes for a really awkward time to watch, where you're just like, oh, cool, like he doesn't care, which I would expect him not to care. And I don't care to watch this. But yeah, I got to that Bix thing and I was like, oh, this is grimy. I don't like this. So yeah, I wasn't into it either, man. So don't feel bad if you didn't like it. And that's it. That's all it is for our emails.
Now there's one more, dude, from a very dedicated listener of the show.
What? Did I miss something?
My man Daniel. Are you for real?
Oh, wow. I didn't
You want me
see
to read it?
No, I got it. Can't think of anything.
Okay.
Hey guys, I couldn't think of a specific topic to ask you guys, so we'll instead ask random questions. Al, what's the best E40 album? Mike, what's your feelings on Madlib? As per Kaz tweet from a few weeks back, is Booker T unintentionally the funniest WWE commentator of all time? If not, who is it? Cheers, y'all. Daniel. I love Madlib. Quasimodo the Unseen is one of my all-time favorite albums. Definitely in the top 5, easily. And I love most of the stuff he's done. He veered off into like a weird corner of the world for a while, where I wasn't like listening to everything he did, but I think he bounced back with the Freddie Gibbs stuff he did. I have so much of his shit, and yeah, he's definitely like one of my favorite producers, if not my favorite producer of all time. As far as the Booker T thing, that's good. I can't think of any other actual unintentionally funny WWE commentators because they're all robots now. So I'm trying to think of somebody from back in like the olden days, but the only thing I could think of is that CM Punk commentary run, but that wasn't really unintentional. He was just like naturally funny. So yeah, it might be. I mean, Mike Adamle, that sort of counts, but honestly, Mike Adamle is sort of more sad than funny. But yeah, I think he'd be the only one in competition there.
Yeah, I guess Booker T would be it. Outside of WWE, I'd have to go Yoshitatsu for fucking sure.
Yeah.
His performance on Wrestle Kingdom 9 with Matt Stryker was something. So if you're into unintentionally funny commentary and you've never heard that show, I recommend it. Best E40 album. I guess I'd probably go with In a Major Way. And, you know, it was my first E40 album, and it has Sprinkle Me on it, and One Love, all the big hits. So probably that one. That was it. Do we have any Discord questions or no?
No, people stopped using that. That's over.
That's cool. That's fine. They did keep using the mixtape suggestion channel, which is good. So keep doing that. But if you want to participate, email us at virtualpros64@gmail.com. 2-man scramble time, and I only have one. It's going to be kind of a long one, I'm guessing, and I suppose this will require some of your participation, Mike. But I guess I just wanted to put it out there and let people know as to why we took this, I guess, semi-break. I think it's been, 3.5 weeks maybe?
It's been about a month, yeah.
Yeah, been about a month. So, I mean, for me, I can only speak for me. Episode 111 dropped, and that was the Shame Cup episode. And I think, it was that Friday. I woke up and I was in the Discord, and someone said, don't go on Hanakamura's Twitter. And of course I went. And I saw what happened live. And then, we all got the news, I think maybe 12 or 13 hours later, that she had passed away. And I think this might be the one wrestling death that, hit me the hardest. Not because she was on the brink of, wrestling stardom, pun not intended. But 22 is just, way too fucking young for that to happen. And then once you start to read into why it happened with cyberbullying, I was just like, fuck, dude. What a tragic way to go. And then I think it was 2 or 3 days later, the George Floyd murder happened. And I was in no shape, or I just was not in the mind state to write any jokes about anything at that point. And so, yeah, these past 2 or 3 weeks have just been a lot of self-reflection, and sorry if this sounds so scattered. I've done this podcast for 4 years. How many hours? Over 150. And I'm still pretty bad at speaking in circles and speaking extemporaneously. So if anything sounds a little off, or if you want to check me, feel free, go ahead, that's fine. But I know the week after that happened, like I was in no shape to record at all. And even last week as well, like still pretty affected by it. And like I had said, it's just been like a lot of time for like self-reflection for me and wondering what I can do, during these times. And, you know, admittedly, like I've been pretty passive. I mean, not recently, but like overall, like in terms of, social issues like this. But what I will say is that, you know, for me personally, Black people and Black culture has like only enriched my life, the friends that I've made, the art, the music, the food, like what I wouldn't give right now for a Fat Matt's plate right now. But my stance is that, I can't understand if you are not on the side of, supporting Black lives. Like, I think everyone should be. And I don't know how to end this, but that's, you know, the majority of the reason why we are on break. So if you want to chime in, Mike, feel free to go ahead. But.
Yeah, I mean, basically what Al said, the Hanakamura thing was a pretty big bum out. Obviously we stopped doing the Shame Cup because it just seemed to be in poor taste to be like, hey, look at these assholes. Like, you know, right after that, like basically cyberbullying other cyberbullies. It's not cool. Don't worry though. It'll be back because I'm back to pretty much hating everybody. But no, yeah. The George Floyd and all the protests that followed it hit me pretty hard because, you know, I live in Chicago. It's a big city. I used to live in New York. I have a lot of friends there. I have a lot of friends in LA. I have friends in Atlanta, like every single city that's, you know, going through it. And, it's just, it's something like, you know, just waking up every day for the past few weeks, just being stressed out. Like, you know, this is fucking real. And, as Al said about being passive, first off, I'll be the first to say, before I moved to the Midwest, I was pretty lackadaisical about racism. I'm not saying that I was racist, but I was just like in that liberal bubble to the point where I was like, I can't even imagine people being racist, where it's just kind of like, not because I'm like an ignorant, like naive white person, because I'm far from it, but it's just like, you live in New York where like, you know, you're with so many different walks of life, you don't think about racism. And then you move somewhere here where it's like super segregated. And it's like, oh, like race, like, and you see people like fucking cop shirts on, like pro cop shirts, and you're just like, yo, what the fuck? Like, I guess this is real. So, you know, moving here has like really woke me up. And at the same time, I am pretty like lackadaisical, like Al said, pretty passive to a point. Like, I think a lot of people, when they're on the internet and they do like the performative wokeness where every single thing is not good enough for them and they never like point that finger inwards, I think that stuff sucks. I think when people do that, they're trying too hard and there's not enough action. There's only talking, no action. But this is like a time where like you have to be in action. Like you have to do what you can. You cannot be passive. And that's fine. Like it's fine if you've been passive for the past however long years, but this is like a real cause that you need to be serious about. You can't just blow it off. And I know, like I said, it's probably hits like me and Al and, you know, other people live in bigger cities a little harder because it's like happening, like, you know, outside of our front doors. And so I imagine if you're in a smaller place, it probably doesn't resonate, but it needs to. Like this, you have to be fed up right now. You have to do what you can. Obviously I'm speaking to people who support Black Lives Matter and, you know, anything, righteous. Obviously if you do not support this, I do not want you listening to this. And I want you to go jump off of a bridge right now. But yeah, you know, you do need to be fed up. You do need your voice, like whatever you can do. Even if it says donating $5, that's fine. It doesn't need to be this grand gesture as long as you're out there fighting. But yeah, so I do think that stuff, I think everybody understood this is why we didn't do a podcast for a month. And, cheers to those people who did, because I don't know how the fuck they did it, but yeah, it's been very, very real. And, I assume it's just gonna keep getting worse before it gets better, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, with the lynchings that are happening right now and them being just dismissed as suicides, like we just live in a horrible time.
Yes.
Coupled with the fact that we're living in a pandemic and, virtual pros is a thing where, like, I mean, for me, I come on here and record and I make my fucking jokes about people's outfits and haircuts. But yeah, the past 2 or 3 weeks have just been pretty tough, and just I haven't really been in the mood to do it. And especially coupled with that, and wrestling just kind of sucks.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna front. Wrestling is fucking boring, man. So, like, I don't know. Hopefully we can get back to a regularly scheduled program. But we'll see. I don't know. It's tough to say right now.
So yeah, I have a couple things, and then I'm going to get very real. I'm going to start shooing at the end. I don't have the new jack.
That's okay.
I don't have the new jack soundboard anymore because I have a new computer, so I couldn't find it.
Yeah, you got the gamer PC with the backlit keyboard.
Got that Alienware, but I don't I thought I transferred over the new jack, but I didn't, so I can't play that while I'm shooting. But anyways, yeah, New Japan's back, as we mentioned. I watched the first couple shows of the New Japan Cup. I thought it was pretty good. I think they're pretty natural at avoiding the whole no crowd thing. Their commentary is always mixed well, and they're always speaking, so you don't really notice it. I'll say you do notice it during those bad matches, like that Okada-Guido match. Maybe just show clips of that one. That's something that I wish I didn't see live, and just when you rebroadcast it, make that the clip version like they used to do on those old tapes, because I don't need to see that whole 15 minutes ever again. But the better matches, Ishii, Desperado, Minoru Suzuki, Nagata. What was the other one from the first day? That was good. I don't know.
Wait, hold on. Ishii, Despi, Hiromu, Honma.
Oh yeah. I like that. Yeah, I like that one a lot. Yeah, those, you miss a little, like there's a couple percent off of like epicness, but they do a pretty good job of covering it up. So I was very into their presentation. And they show during the little intermissions, they show the guys in the hazmat suits, like cleaning the ring, which, I know some people don't believe in science. So maybe that upsets, those anti-science people out there seeing, cleanly rings. But, just hearing that WWE is only testing wrestlers for the first time right now after running for the past 3 months, it's good to see a professional wrestling company that's not run by fucking ghouls and monsters. So yeah, I'm pretty pumped. I'm honestly bummed that I have to wait till Monday to watch more New Japan. But what have you thought about the return of New Japan, Al?
I'm so happy, man. This is my favorite promotion. I think that's been clear for the past couple of years. I'm just excited for the possible matchups. I mean, Nagata Okada should be really good. I think Ishii Hiromu is going to happen. That's fucking sick. I did think that they might put the Young Lions out in the crowd, but, it really hasn't affected my enjoyment of it. I kind of thought, hear me out here, like, why couldn't they just put, like, the VPW2 ambient crowd noise in the background and have, like, the 1, 2, 3, like, on separate pads on an NPC or some shit, and just fucking do it that way? I don't know. I think it'd work, but overall, I'm just glad it's back, and the wrestling's obviously of the highest quality. So overall, pretty positive on my end.
Yeah, and Japan, I guess. I mean, I don't know the politics of Japan, but they're clearly not run by as big of an idiot as that runs our country. So they're almost already back to having like some crowds. I watched. I'm not a pervert, I swear, but I watched Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling the other day. And they're fucking packed in there. I mean, they're some distancing, but they have like a real crowd. They're all wearing masks and shit. So yeah, wrestling is back in Japan. It's gonna probably take a couple years to get back here, but hey, what are you gonna do? Did you watch the greatest wrestling match of all time ever?
I had it in the background, and I would switch tabs every now and then, so I saw a little bit of it. A lot of people really liked it seemed like, but for me, like, it was good. I don't think they lived up to the billing, but some people have definitely talked themselves into crossing that bridge for sure. Yeah,
I think WWE is really good at just feeding people like chicken shit for years and years, and then they throw them a little chicken salad, and it seems like it seems like a fucking fine 12-course buffet at that point. Because that match was okay. Like, it was definitely 45 minutes. Like, that happened. And they did about 20 minutes worth of moves in that 45 minutes. So, but for WWE, it was pretty good. Oh, and I forgot they did retakes and stuff too. And, still that was the end product after retakes. So yeah, I think people on the internet just tend to be hyperbolic, and maybe they only watch WWE, and that does seem like a good match, but oh boy. I thought every single New Japan Cup match was, outside of the dud matches, but all the good ones I thought were way better than, that fucking Greatest Wrestling match. Second to last, this is a thing that I think I asked Twitter several weeks ago, thinking that I would either be on this podcast or Border Boss within days after asking it, so I could have a more in-depth discussion about it, but it didn't happen. I haven't recorded anything in a month. So, but I asked wrestlers and wrestling personalities and people involved in the wrestling business, what is their go-to Taco Bell order? And, in my mind, when I did this, I was like, oh, I'm going to map it out and have all these quotes and stuff. I never did that. I completely forgot about it up until a couple days ago. And so I'm just doing this by memory. But, I was looking for some kind of patterns or something like that, see what wrestlers were into. And the only like big pattern that I found, and this might just be people in general, and I just never realized it, is that, man, every wrestler loves Baja Blast. And, I'm not a big Mountain Dew guy. I remember when that came out, and I was like, I guess I gotta try it because it's a Taco Bell exclusive flavor. And, I gotta try it because who knows when this might be gone tomorrow. It's not. It's been here for 10 years now, at least. But, I tried it that one time, and I was like, this is disgusting, just like every other Mountain Dew, and moved on with my life. And yeah, apparently it's alive and well. A lot of the wrestlers, like, the Butcher, Andy Williams, who lives in Buffalo, kind of outside of Canada, and, Daniel Maccabi, I think, who lives in Canada. They even suggested Baja Blast Zero, which I think is like kind of like a border thing, because I didn't even know there was any kind of zero calorie Mountain Dews, but so there's even diet versions out there. A lot of wrestlers, of course, Crunchwrap, which is my go-to. So that was nice to see. I forget who it was, and I wish I remembered so I could give him credit. But somebody, because my other go-to is Frito Burritos, and he was like, I get them and I add sour cream, and that just blew my mind because I'm one of those people who never adds or subtracts anything to any menu item. So I was like, man, I've never even fucking thought of that. That's probably amazing. So if I ever go to a Taco Bell again, and I don't know if I ever will, I'm definitely going to try that Frito burrito with the sour cream. But yeah, that's about it. I'm glad I got a lot of responses from a lot of different, levels of wrestler, I guess you would say. And a lot of people like referees, commentary, just people who are in the biz, I guess. So it was, nice to have that little sampling. I wish I could have made something more out of it, but yeah, it was cool.
I only get one soda at fast food.
Yeah.
And it's Sprite.
Really?
I can't really bang with anything else. Yeah.
It's
just like the perfect palate cleanser.
Yeah, I don't like, I get Diet Coke if I have to get soda, but I don't really, I guess if I have to get it, yeah, I get like Diet. Sometimes if they have a freestyle machines, I might get a little cherry vanilla Diet Coke, but,
okay.
I never really get Sprite or anything like that. There was that minute where they had that fucking breakfast soda at Taco Bell. I can't even remember what it was. It might have been a breakfast Mountain Dew, and I tried that, and that was nasty too. But anyways, yeah. So my last topic, it's another sort of serious one, not serious to me, but also over when these protests started, a lot of people, a lot of companies were tweeting their support of the Black Lives Matter movement, or maybe, not tweeting their support, just being dickheads and not tweeting. And a little wrestling related business called Pro Wrestling Tees, their owner, I guess, tweeted a picture of him boarding up his business with a real woe is me tweet. I don't remember what it was, but it was like, oh man, I'm out here. It's our 7th anniversary and I'm boarding up our business. Oh boy, I'm scared of these looters. And I was just like, man, that, like, I saw it and I was like, that's pretty tone deaf. And I just, went about my day. And then somebody, like some woman, saw it and like basically turned into this thing where they're a racist. And I don't know. I didn't make that jump. I could see how people can make that jump. I didn't personally make that jump, but I was like, well, that's, I guess, that's what you get for tweeting some dumb shit like that. And then, obviously pro wrestling tees stinks. And I'm going to get into that. This is what I'm leading to. I want to explain why I personally think pro wrestling tees stinks. But like so many people jumped on this dude, like, yo, your fucking company fucking sucks. This is why, blah, blah, blah. And then he went private, which is the most cowardly thing you could do on the internet, of course. He blocked a bunch of people and he came back and he was, he did the age old, yeah, well, at first he was like, that's how I just handle stress. I block people and I go private. But I'm not racist. I hired a black guy once, and that's just that's the death note right there. It's just, that's, again, he's from this area. And I think like, racism works differently here than my, liberal bubble. And I think maybe when you say I hired a black guy once, you actually think that's like, it's like an olive branch there. I don't know. But anyways, so it was over. I don't really give a shit that much. At this point, I didn't give a shit. I'm going to get to that. But, so then I guess one of the employees, was like digging into this girl's tweets from 1700 years ago and pulled out her being very racist. And he was like, ha, I got you. And, that sucks. It sucks that she was being very racist on the internet. But racism is not like It Follows the movie. Like you can't just pass it on to somebody else. Like you have still been accused of being racist. It doesn't go away because somebody else is racist. That's not how it works. Not because you hired a black guy once. Like that's not how it works. But anyways, somebody in Discord posted this and I was like, that's weird. I can't see these tweets. What's going on? What could prevent me from seeing somebody's tweets? And it says, I was blocked. I was blocked by this man I've never interacted with. And I was like, man, fuck them. Like, what kind of pussy shit is this? I have never talked to you. Fucking tell me why you're blocking me. It's not like somebody on fucking, like, the people who usually block us are people we've probably, like, offhandedly talked shit about on the podcast. And I get it. I get it. Or you're just like, oh, that guy said that mean thing about me. I'm just going to block him so I don't need to see any more of his shit. But just blocking me for no reason. So that just kind of, got under my goat a little. And I just wanted to explain from my perspective as a person who I have a kind of a go nowhere job right now, is hoping to be looking for jobs before this fucking pandemic happened. But before this, I had like this very high end kind of customer service job. I wasn't like customer facing or anything like that. I was more of a bigger picture guy where I was like investigating things and stuff like that. And before that, I worked in social media, and these are the two worst elements of pro wrestling tees are customer service and social media. So I figured I'm kind of a pro at this. So I just wanted to walk through this. First off, if you guys don't know, they use direct to garment printing, which is, it's a cheaper, easier, more convenient way of printing. You don't have to like do screens or ink or anything like that. You can just keep a design on a computer and print it when you need it. It's very simple. It's very easy. It's very effective. Unfortunately, it's like not, it's the quality on it's a little worse than actual screen printing. So the best thing I could liken it to is when you have like a giant store that's, running direct to garment, like thousands of shirts a day or whatever it is. It's kind of like Wish, basically. Like people don't go to the Wish website going, oh, I'm going to get the fucking most best quality Bluetooth speaker for $7. Like they're probably expecting something that's not that great. And that's kind of what pro wrestling tees is. Like you see the picture, but it's going to be a direct to garment printing, by some person who has to print 700 other shirts that day. And as somebody has told me, one time they got, a shirt where they didn't let the fucking transfer cool off, and it was just stuck to the envelope. Like the whole shirt was stuck to the envelope. And that's the kind of like quality you get from pro wrestling tees, I guess. I don't know. I wouldn't order them. And that's the other thing. So again, this is from many accounts from people that have told me that, they order things from there and they'll question them on the internet and they'll just block them, which is, maybe the absolute worst thing you could do as a customer service. And the thing is, like, I think they have like a really good idea where if you're an independent wrestler and you don't want to deal, you don't want to be a fucking t-shirt designer, you don't want to be a guy who fucking wastes your time packing shirts all day. They have this company they can go to and be like, hey, here's my t-shirt design. You're going to do all the hard work. You're going to give me $7 of your overpriced $25 shirt that you're charging for that cost you like $3 to make. And it's fine. But like the thing is the wrestlers, they don't have anything to do with this quality control or this customer service. And it's just like, I don't know, man. I've been in like fucking week-long meetings about stuff like this at my previous job where it's just like, you can't do shit like this. Like, it's going to come back and bite you in the ass. And, it's like, obviously they have like the golden goose. They have the AEW contract, and there's going to be enough dumbasses who don't care about t-shirt quality. Cause let's face it, a lot of wrestling fans, like TGI Fridays is, the end all be all of restaurants. So if your favorite restaurant is TGI Fridays and you never go anywhere classier than that, obviously you're not going to care if your fucking t-shirt has a hole in it after 5 washes, because you probably don't fucking care. And luckily they have enough people like that behind them, but it just takes fucking with like the one wrong person to like for your whole fucking company to crumble. And it's again like something I've heard horror stories about many times in meetings and stuff like that. And like I said, I think Pro Wrestling Tees, the business, is beyond reproach. I think enough people have warned them that their quality sucks, their customer service sucks, their social media presence is fucking horrendous. And I don't think they give a shit. And I just want to say, if you're like a wrestler or somebody out there that works through them, you got to think about this, because this is going to come back to you one day, and there's nothing you can do about it. If they do something, if they say the N-word on their social media or something like that, people are going to boycott their company and not buy your shirts. And this is shit you have to think about. And I don't know. I think they should be better, and they could be better. And I don't really have a point to this. I just wanted to say my side of it, since I felt like I was, not really deserved to be blocked by somebody I've never spoken to. And they're just a shitty, very overpriced t-shirt company. And unfortunately, it sucks that so many wrestlers use them, because I'll never ever buy any of those shirts. They're too expensive. They're too shoddily made. The people who run the business seem to be fucking huge assholes on the internet. So I don't know. I don't have any point to this. I just wanted to get it off my chest that, don't be a fucking dirtbag when you have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of wrestlers' accounts that you handle that you don't really care about, because you have this one big account that you could fucking lean on, because one day that's going to go away, and then where are you going to be? So yeah, that's it. The end.
I did think it was good that this jump started, I guess sort of a movement with wrestlers like going through like screen printing companies. I mean, you could look at it this way. Like, I haven't seen any vintage DTG shirts that go for $400, but I have seen some pretty good vintage tees, wrestling related, that go for that much. So I don't know, maybe make a banger t-shirt, put it aside, use it as a savings bond. And hopefully you can profit.
And I think enough people out there like that are actually do this more than us. Like they've definitely, reached out and said they'd offer their services. But if anybody's listening to this and they need help, I'm not going to fucking design a shirt for you. I'm not going to mail it for you or anything like that. But if you need advice or help with finding printing companies or any kind of questions like that, I am more than happy to answer them for you if you don't use Pro Wrestling Tees, because their whole quality or quantity over quality shit is fucking garbage, and it's better to have 1 or 2 nice designs than 700. Also, after all that hired a black guy once, the only kind of fucking charity they did is like one guy put up some shitty Black Lives Matter ECW shirt, and they're like, that's enough. So yeah, I don't know. It's just very, very hollow statements by them.
I don't know. As a company that had made that Backslides Matter t-shirt.
I forgot about that.
Along with, they made that shirt, and they had that one Nazi podcast sell their wares on that site.
Yeah. Again, and when people brought that up, they just blocked them. It's like, you can't do that, man. You gotta come up with a statement. You can't just fucking block people. That's like, if you were a real business in the real world, this would be the end. It'd be curtains for you.
Yo, Delta, where's my fucking flight at? Blocked. Yeah. You're out of here. Yeah. I don't give a shit.
That would work great. That would work great for Delta if they just blocked everybody who complained.
Oh, my goodness. Anyway, was that your last one?
That was my last one.
Cool. Today's topic, the 2020 Pro Wrestling Progress Report. Mike and Al pull out the red Sharpie and hand out grades for the first half of 2020. Did I even say the topic at the beginning?
Yeah, fuck, who cares? Dude. Who cares?
Yeah, right. We'll see you guys in a little bit. Donate some money. Support. Yeah. Black Lives Matter.
Fresh home from school, it's the flow.
live back to college. Gotta make boys straight feel. Down at the college, coaches like me cause my skills is top of the line. Young G's sip to serve with the wine. I got to show these boys my raw naked hide. Catch me on the TV, nationwide I win. Me and MJG, yeah, we both getting big. Both mighty scholars, I'm all the dollar. You catch me at the Harvey, make a yellow hole holler. Baby, what I say, I'm only out to trade.
And we're back with Virtual Pros, episode 112, where the players dwell. Today's topic, this is the report card episode that I love doing. Basically, it's just a review of the past 6 months of wrestling. We give grades out for the 4 major promotions. We would add indies, but that's not a thing right now. And after giving grades, I think Mike and I just made some awards. I did best and worst. I think Mike did something similar as well, but I guess we can alternate and start off with the letter grades that we'd give each promotion. First, I had WWE. For all their monster behavior that's been coming out in recent days about not letting anyone wear a mask inside the Performance Center, and all their very shady cosigns politically. I'm not gonna front, the wrestling, not that bad. To me, at least. I gave it a B-. WrestleMania, it wasn't that bad, all things considered. I thought the matches were pretty good. The cinematic matches, namely. The Rumble was pretty good, for the majority of the year. They treated Drew McIntyre pretty well as their champion. And, Asuka, she's just been such a revelation on Raw. And then they made the WWE 2K series, like, into an arcade game. So that's a pretty big bonus for me as well. So overall, like, I can't say that I watched Raw in full, like, ever, or SmackDown even, but I think they've actually, like, tried to, like, implement some sort of change, in their booking. We'll see how that works out with Paul Heyman now gone, but it's been better in recent months, I think, than it has in recent years. How about you? What'd you think?
Big ol' F for WWE, of course. I don't know. Fuck Al's thinking B-. This is ridiculous. I think he's a bootlicker, honestly. Yeah, it's
that's why. B for bootlickers. Yeah, that's why.
It's pretty tough, man. They fired a bunch of people they didn't need to. Don't sign all these fucking people if you're gonna fire them. It's pretty fucked up firing them when it's gonna be pretty hard to get another job. Obviously all the Trump shit sucks. They're fucking shitty Linda McMahon, like during like the fucking heart of the protest, posting some shit about like the Trump economy and shit like that, just like completely tone deaf. All their empty shit. It's WrestleMania I thought sucked, but I think it was just too soon.
It didn't suck, man. Really?
Well, that's the thing. I think it was too soon. I think if WrestleMania happened now, like if the same exact note for note, I probably wouldn't have hated on it so hard, but I think it was too close to weird no crowd wrestling, and now I'm kind of conditioned to it. But I think at the time I was like, I fucking hate this. I don't want to watch this. I think a lot they've including WWE. I think they're still a little behind every other promotion on earth, but all these promotions have made strides to make no crowd wrestling kind of not weird, and WrestleMania was just a little too weird. I didn't like that Undertaker. I thought it was good. I thought the cinematic match was good, but it wasn't the end all be all, as people said. I thought fucking the same week, fucking Su Yung and Jessica Havoc had a cinematic match on TNA Impact, and that was better than that fucking shit. So, the John Cena Bray Wyatt thing was amazing though. That was amazing. So they had that. And the other credit I'll give them is that somehow, I guess this whole pandemic has slowed down maybe their merchandise demand. So I think people are taking a little more than 5 to 10 minutes to make their t-shirt designs now, because they've gotten better. Like they actually just came out with a Shotzi Blackheart shirt that's not only for a woman wrestler, but it's actually wearable too. Like, it actually has a cool design. I think that this might, outside of Asuka, this might be the first female wrestler design that's not complete dog shit. So that's cool. They had like a few more, like some tongue-in-cheek ones that maybe didn't hit, but it showed they were like humans at least and not just robots. And but outside of those good, it's just a lot of like I think there's a lot of people that are just like, I hate WWE, and they're, you know, they take every opportunity they can have to talk shit about them and bring up the Trump shit and stuff like that and fuck them and blah, blah, blah. And I understand that. I'm completely down with that. At the same time, it's kind of like, I think it was in Clerks where they have like a conversation about asking like if everybody that was on the Death Star in Star Wars was a bad person. And, you know, like they're finally like, well, you know, there's like independent contractors that are just trying to like get by and they have a job. And I believe that about WWE too. I don't believe everybody who works for them is inherently evil, but at the same time, there's a lot of fucking lip service going on Twitter with their like, you know, their 5 kind of woke righteous wrestlers that are always like, you know, they're doing their poignant tweets, and it's like, dude, like you are like working for like the king rat that's feeding all of the other rats, and like you can probably do something about this besides tweet about it, because you kind of have the power and they don't. So it's kind of just like, it gets kind of groanish for me after a while to be like, oh, I'm so righteous, blah, blah, blah. It's like, why don't you fucking do something about it then? Like, you're in a position where you can do it and you're not gonna because you don't want to lose your job. And so I don't know, it seems kind of hollow to me. So like all of that just rubs me the wrong way. I don't think I could ever monetarily like support this company in any way ever again, because it's too terrible. And yeah, so big F for me, F+++. Next one.
How about the Randy Orton 180? And I was completely shocked by that. How'd you react to that?
I'll say he's learned. I'm pretty sure he does have a black wife, and he was pretty racist even with a black wife. So maybe one day she was like, "Hey man, listen, I'm black. You gotta stop being racist." And he was like, "Oh shit, I don't want to get divorced. Maybe I gotta stop doing stuff like posting T-shirts about how school shootings wouldn't happen if Jesus was in school. Maybe I gotta stop doing this because I don't want to get divorced." Whatever was inspired his 180. I'm glad it happened, but you know, he's still not completely trustworthy. New Japan Pro Wrestling. They only really just came back this week, and outside of that, they had what they do, like one event after Wrestle Kingdom, and that was it. Pretty much.
Yeah, they had that Naito Kenta main event.
Yeah.
For their February event, and that was it.
So, you know, I'm gonna give them a B- just for putting out quality events and being the smart company to just take the time off and let their wrestlers heal, and it's good they're back. And I imagine Ishii's like 27% less crippled right now, and he could wrestle a few more matches, and it kind of honestly freshens New Japan a little, because honestly seeing those endless tags for tours on end gets kind of boring. So it's kind of just like all new again. So it's kind of incomplete, but yeah, definitely a B- for New Japan.
I gave it an A-. I mean, I'm only really judging them for 3 events. Wrestle Kingdom, which I thought was a home run. The February event, I can take it or leave it, I guess. But the New Japan Cup, I feel like so far has been really good. And I still think there's like a lot of like money matches to be made. You have a Hiromu versus like practically anybody in the heavyweight division. Same with Ospreay once he's allowed back in the country. I thought she'd be a fan of Kawato being a Shaw Brothers inspired character.
Yeah, I'll
that could be pretty rad.
I'll see you when it actually debuts. See what it's like.
And those Naito boxes are pretty sweet. So overall, I've been pretty satisfied with New Japan as a whole.
Not to get a little too racial, but I mean the Japanese and the Chinese, I believe they have a kind of a shaky alliance. Like not even alliance, they just have a shaky relationship. So this Grandmaster might be kind of like, you know, a little too racist. You know, you never know. So I'm not going to go all in on that Grandmaster until I see it.
We shall see, man. Hopefully it's a crossing of the bridges. I don't know. We'll see. Next promotion is NXT. I'm gonna give this a big old D minus. Once this show went 2 hours, and then they went on that spending spree to like loot the indies, it was like a fucking wrap for them. Once they had that tournament, when they signed like 9 guys in a row, like Shane Strickland and
Trevor Lee and ACH.
Trevor Lee.
Jake Atlas.
Exactly. Yeah. That was when it was a wrap. I put that, that's where I'm putting my foot down on when NXT started to suck. Because like at one point, like this was like my favorite promotion, like definitely like at least in America. And now like at least this year it's been pretty bad. Like Takeover Portland and the recent In Your House. I guess they were like pretty easy watches, but like nothing you should really make time for personally. And they just made like so many guys into bums. Like Finn Balor, he just sounds like he reviews Cage Match. He sounds so crazy. He was talking about being like a transitional champion to Adam Cole, and like I've never heard anyone talk like that in wrestling. Maybe Vince Russo back in the day. And that was bad already when it was considered edgy, but like 2020, like the jig is up. You can't talk like that anymore, especially if you're a wrestler. I guess the only shining spot for me has been Io Shirai. She seems like a big deal right now, and I'm really happy that she got the title. But overall, like that show's pretty bad.
Yeah, I'm on the same way. I'm going to give him a D. I've always, if you can go back and listen to every episode of this, I've always rode for NXT, even when other people haven't. But I think that I guess that tournament was around the same time. But I think once they went live on USA, that was the end. I don't know what exactly happened, but I think that coupled with 2 years of Johnny Gargano main events on TakeOver was just it was a little too much at the same time. And I was, up until like a couple weeks ago, I was still on the Johnny Gargano train. I know everybody left the train. I was on that train by myself, but he's just too much of a nerd. Like I can't do it anymore. Again, the doggoizing of a wrestler where he's just like always on the internet with his toys and his costumes. It's just like, it's finally gotten to me. So yeah, it just seems like, yeah, they brought down Finn Balor and made him a bum, and it's just so depressing because he's like fucking 40 now. It's just like, I could have made this a 2-man scramble topic, but I think at one point I was like, there's no way he's gonna be, like less popular and successful than he was in New Japan in WWE. But now I'm thinking maybe if he stayed in New Japan, it would have been better, even though they historically don't really push juniors unless they, bulk up like Will Ospreay, but maybe Finn could have been like a main event guy in New Japan if he stuck around. I don't know, because it seems like he's kind of like fucking wasted away in WWE. And yeah, it just seems like they've kind of given up on NXT. It's just a show. It's just like Raw now. It's just a show to fill time. The takeovers are still watchable, and they still have good matches on them, but it's just not the same anymore. Last is AEW. This is their first, they never stopped. They didn't take a break. They just, kept going since, they have, access to a venue that's outside. So they could sort of have a crowd before everybody else had one. So it's never been completely unbearable with the no wrestling. I'm going to give this a B. I think there's still room for improvement. I think, we're going to do the best and the worst, not to give away, but I think they have the best match of the half year for me. Not that they had much competition, but still. And I think they're still mostly good. I think there's like, I don't like Cody. I don't like that they have fucking fence walkers on that were like, kind of tweeting like vague shit during all the shit going down. I don't like that. Their owner's dad is still a huge Trump supporter. Like there's still a lot of shady shit about them, but I do like the actual show. I like the actual wrestling. I think somebody said this. I think even Kenny Omega said it, but it's definitely split between the kind of Cody Rhodes old school Southern wrestling side and the more Kenny Omega DDT side. And I'm definitely more into the Kenny Omega DDT side, and I kind of just zone out during the Southern wrestling sides. But I like it. It's definitely a easy show to watch. They haven't had like a actual bad pay-per-view or anything like that. So, definite strong B for me. I could even bump it up to a B+, but they're doing great.
I'm gonna let this dirt bike pass. My neighbor's got a dirt bike the other day, or other week, I suppose. It's been great. I gave AEW a B as well. For one, they still have Judas, which is very important to me. Have you seen the May Saruga cover, Mike? And how much did you like it?
Oh yeah, that I was thinking about adding that too. I forgot to talk about Pain Pigs during their 2-man scramble, but yeah, for those who are still interested, Pain Pigs would probably, I guess, be a weekly thing. I got a new computer. I'm not putting a very strong stress on my 10-year-old computer that was liberated from a fucking college somewhere that shouldn't even be doing anything outside of running Microsoft Word. And it's a fun time. Pain Pigs is a bunch of people. It's a 2-hour break from the stress of life on Twitch every Monday. And that's the only wrestling you can watch now and not have to worry about being canceled. So, but yeah, I was thinking about putting that May Segura Judas cover, on a upcoming Pain Pigs maybe, or maybe doing, putting the actual music behind her, cause she's doing like kind of an acoustic, an a cappella cover of Judas, but it's pretty great.
But yeah, in terms of their TV show, like they are far and away, the show that has done like no fans, the best, like in terms of presentation, like it looks really good and it's not even close. Commentary is also probably the best right now, in the game. In terms of like pushing new people, I also think they're the best at that. Like Sammy Guevara, Darby Allin, and most recently the Stroke Daddy himself, Ricky Starks. Like they all feel like they're on the brink of like being really big deals. So I got to give them the props for that.
They did that thing with that Abaddon. They introduced this Anna Jay wrestler, gave her like a segment, and then had this other wrestler debut and just wash her in like fucking 2 minutes. And then like shit like that's crazy to do. So yeah.
Yeah, Anna Jay, very athletic. Probably some of the biggest athleticism I've seen so far on USA TV. Yeah, the women's division is pretty good too. I haven't seen Riho in a while, but they've done okay.
I don't think they could travel here anymore. So.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Hikaru Shida lives here now. You're right. But with that said, like I'm just not really that invested in like whatever they do. I don't know. I just never been a Young Bucks guy. Jericho's funny to me. Kenny Omega, I think I enjoyed him more when he was getting beat by Okada and Tanahashi. So, maybe I'll warm up to it. But right now, still a B for me. You want to move on to best and worst?
Sure.
Yeah, I think we had different awards, so I guess I'll let you go first.
I didn't really do anything. I just left the list there. So, and it was best match, wrestler, promotion, and surprises. And I didn't really do any of that. I haven't even made a list. I was just going to wing it. Best match for me this year has definitely been the tag team match from AEW from their last live pay-per-view. And like the last live event I'll probably ever go to in my life. The Kenny Omega and Hangman Page versus the Young Bucks, which was kind of a match that I wasn't really even looking forward to going in. And I was kind of even being a brat about it, where I was like, man, this is like the first and possibly last time I'll ever see Kenny Omega, and I have to see him in a stupid tag match. And that ended up being like not only the best tag match possibly I've ever seen, but just definitely one of the best live matches I've ever seen too. So that's definitely a high number one. Probably, I mean, I don't know what's going to happen for the rest of the year, but strong contender for my match of the year too.
Yeah, I also picked a match that I saw live. My match of the year so far is Kota Ibushi versus the greatest Kazuchika Okada at Wrestle Kingdom, Night 1. That match ended up being everything I wanted it to be. Kota Ibushi definitely punched Okada in the face super hard, and that was sweet as hell. And if that's the last match I have to go out on watching live, I'm okay with it. My MVP for the year so far, though, has been Asuka. She's given me the greatest joy in these past 6 months. I thought that Money in the Bank show was pretty okay, but she's just been like week in, week out, like very consistent, and so I got to give her props for that.
I guess I'm gonna do my wrestler, and then I'm gonna do my worst match of the year. But my wrestler is again Hangman Adam Page. This guy, he started in AEW kind of aimless. His first match was against Kip Sabian, who's kind of a bum now, and it was like they were trying to do like a serious wrestling match, and it sucked. And he just kind of was like an aimless guy, and I did not think he could be salvageable. But not only is he salvageable, but he's like their most interesting character. He's outside of Mance Warner, like the most vocal person on Twitter about how fucked up everything is. And that's great because he's in like an actual position of power where he can say shit like that. And I'm sure, I'm gonna say a lot of the AEW fans probably vote the wrong way. I mean, they probably don't vote, but they probably think the wrong way. So it's good to have that voice instead of the Jake Hagers and the, Chris Jericho's and the Frankie Kazarians who posted during the protests, hey man, I just want everybody to get along, man. I was just never a political guy. And it's like, then shut the fuck up. Why are you tweeting? Just don't fucking tweet, asshole. But yeah, so Hangman Adam Page, I think, as far as character and wrestling wise, he's on all cylinders right now. As far as my worst match of the year, I didn't talk about it purposely during the WWE segment. That Randy Orton Edge, WrestleMania no holds barred match, or whatever the fuck it was called, was so painful. I think about this match probably more often than any other match in the history of my life now. Cause it's just like, I don't know how it could have went so badly, and it did. It's like they were filming it, so they could have just stopped at any time. They could have watched it back and said, this sucks. Let's do it over again. So there was enough people to say, no, that's great. This 40-minute match that's basically like all the worst parts of old IWA Japan death matches of guys just dragging each other by the head to like different parts of the venue. It's just that for 40 minutes. And like, I don't know how this was approved. I don't know how they showed it for so long. They didn't edit it. Like, it was just fucking terrible, man. It's, I mean, beyond worst match of the year, it could be worst match of the decade. Cause I mean, it's an early decade. We're just starting, but it's setting a pace for, it was fucking really bad. And I don't think it gets enough credit for how bad it was.
And they did that weight room thing the week of the episode of Chris Benoit on Dark Side.
Yeah.
Which was a pretty tone deaf.
After, 10 years ago, firing Daniel Bryan for just choking somebody because they thought it resembled Chris Benoit too much.
Well, at least we both know that there's going to be a blow-off match because they've wrestled twice already, so I hope you're excited for that, Mike.
No, because...
maybe you'll bump up that...
Edge has one of those steroid injuries, so he's done. He's done for a while.
Oh, that's right. He tore his... something in his shoulder?
Tore his pecs.
Yeah, I've heard that, too. There you
tore
go.
his titties. He's going to have to wear the shirt like The Rock.
I did have a least valuable player, and that's Braun Strowman. Just saying his name, I forgot he's the champion, and I don't think that's a very good sign. That guy stinks at wrestling. I know people want to pretend that they're high on him, but he is garbage, and every time he's on TV, I will look at my phone, because I don't enjoy watching Braun Strowman at all. And I think that was it. First half of 2020 reviewed in the books. Anything else you want to add?
No, I'm good. This episode's already going to be mammoth, so we can move on.
Holy shit. Okay. Next up, the world famous mixtape with Eddie Kingston, Minoru Suzuki, Tetsuya Naito, and the AC Baby. Please stay tuned.
Okay, and we're back here on Virtual Pros episode 112, and this is our world famous mixtape segment. What we do here is Big firework outside. What we do here is each pick a couple matches on YouTube and put them on our playlist, our Virtual Pros mixtape on YouTube, which you can find by searching Virtual Pros mixtape, or just VRTL Pros and subscribing on YouTube. Or I usually tweet out the matches a couple day or two beforehand if you want to follow along at home and watch them beforehand and compare notes and blah blah blah. First up for me, I have Eddie Kingston versus PCO from AIW 2018. And no real huge reason for picking this. I kind of just was scrolling around and I saw this match, and I don't think I ever saw it, and I kind of missed PCO because he signed to ROH at the beginning of the year, and no one watches ROH. I don't really know what the big guy's up to, so I figured I'd watch this match. Steve Guy, the announcer, the ring announcer, announces Eddie as being in red and black gear because that's where the whole Gear Eddie joke came from, is AIW. So it was good. It got a little chuckle out of me. I think this was a little before PCO's fully formed internet meme. I think this was like right after he kind of got like a little traction behind him because of his spring break appearance against Walter, but he still wasn't the exact character of PCO that people love today. It was a little before that, but it was still great to see. Obviously, if you're familiar with PCO, if you're not though, he's a guy who, even if you are familiar, you may not know this because you just might be a casual fan, but he was an old WWF guy back in the day, and he's now an actual old guy, and he's fucking crazy, and he does crazy shit, and he seems inhuman, and that's his whole gimmick, is that he's like a Frankenstein man, and he's gotta go down outside of Sabu as maybe the most reckless diver of all time. I can't really think of anybody outside of Sabu that is this reckless with their dives they do, and at like his ripe old age of at least 50 or however fucking old he is. And none of his dives he does, except his moonsault at the end of this match, but everything else is just like, it doesn't look like it was ever had any plans of being not insane. So yeah, if anything, he might have the title by the end of his career as the most reckless wrestling diver of all time. So that's pretty cool. This was a decent match. It was kind of just a little like, an indie, less intense version of that Minoru Suzuki Nagata match from from yesterday or a couple days ago. Kind of like an old man chop fight, even though Eddie Kingston's not old, but it was just kind of like that style. A lot of chops. They did, moves here and there. Brutal chops and shit like that. And then it kind of ramps up and it ends. It's mildly recommended. I don't think you'd go out of your way, but I did have a question for Al though. Eddie Kingston is wearing some kind of stirrup gear pants, but I don't know what. I don't want to say they're stirrups because that just reminds me of Little League, but they're stirrups. They're doing some kind of stirrup thing on there. But he's wearing sneakers under. Al, are you enough of a sneakerhead to be able? Because I know you probably looked to tell what kind of sneakers Eddie Kingston was wearing here.
I absolutely looked, and I could not pinpoint it. I wanted to say Roshi's because they kind of taper, like, from the top to the bottom to the toe.
Those would be horrible to wrestle in.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they're casual lifestyle shoes, but I don't know if, like, there's enough traction to fucking, operate on the mat. But, yeah, I did look, of course, but maybe some sort of cross-trainer? I don't know. It's a tough call.
Eddie, if you're out there, let us know what you wore 2018 AIW.
All right. Not a whole lot to add. But as someone that's seen the Mad King on multiple occasions, Mike, can you give us a tier ranking on the Eddie Kingston outfits? Like his basketball shorts Eddie, the strongest form?
I like that kind of like Puerto Rican flag kind of get up he wears sometimes. That's a good one. I like the pleather pants Eddie. I think the only Eddie I don't really like is the yellow gear Eddie. Not a fan of that one. This gear, I like this gear a lot too. Basketball shorts is good sometimes, not all the time, but yeah, he also has that kind of red, I don't know, like it seems like 80s All Japan or something kind of ode outfit. But I'd have to go with like the old school pleather pants Eddie or just the Puerto Rican flag gear Eddie.
Another question for you, since you've been to Cleveland, have you ever had Angelo's Pizza in Lakewood, Ohio?
Yes.
I mean, I was looking at their menu, and they make a seafood pizza.
Oof.
And as a big Filet-O-Fish fan, like, I definitely try this. What did you think of it?
So I've had it several times at AIW, and it was always dog shit, but I kind of expected it to be dog shit because it's fucking pizza that's been hanging around like at a wrestling event for hours. Like, I don't expect it to be great, but we did go there. Me and Welf went there at some point. And it's not good, but it's like, I've learned. So I was just talking about this with Doan and Mark the other day, friends of mine that were on a show called Kissing Contest. I was very naive to how not good pizza is in Chicago. Like, deep dish is good, and their like thin crust style is good, but like actual just regular, like, that's another thing I was ignorant about. I know people call it New York style pizza, but I just thought that was just like a thing that every place had, and it was just normal. And it's just, it's just like a bagel, like a New York style bagel or something like that. But everybody has bagels. And I kind of thought it was the same thing as pizza, but it's not. Like, every like New York style or like normal, as I like to call it, pizza here I had is not that great. And, so I guess maybe in Cleveland, Angelo's is decent pizza, but it's not something it's kind of pricey too. It's definitely not something I would recommend. But for pizza, as far as old pizza hanging out at events at wrestling though, it's pretty good because, usually that's like Little Caesars or Domino's, and it's definitely better than those options.
Was it better than the pizza that you had at a Game Changer World?
Oh yeah. Goddamn. That's the worst pizza probably in the Northeast. That's probably the worst pizza in New Jersey, period.
I forget that you have the New York perspective on pizza. It's kind of like asking someone about sushi that came from Osaka about what they think about sushi.
The thing is, I'm not biased. I don't think you need to be from New York or the Northeast to have great pizza, but I am surprised at how like the best quality New York style pizza here is like a Northeast, like a New Jersey, like college town, like 2-for-1 style kind of pizza. It's pretty sad, but yeah.
If we make our move into Twitch, like live streaming, I would love to like mail you, a slice of Round Table pizza and get your take on it, mukbang style. That'd be my dream. All the California heads are like, yeah, I bet he'd probably hate it, but we love it here. But anyway, match wise, I guess I'll talk about wrestling now. This was like watching two of like your older uncles having like a very spirited, like one-on-one basketball game in the backyard. The last 2 minutes of this match are like really good though. With PCO reminding everybody that his moonsault is like really good. Like, it looks like a lot of impact happens when he hits it. And, the finish was a surprise to me at least. So I thought this was pretty good. A solid recommendation on my end. My first match of the night is Maurice Smith versus Minoru Suzuki, Pancrase 11/8/1993. I guess it's a pretty safe bet. If you're listening to this podcast this deep into the episode, you're probably familiar with the stylings of Minoru Suzuki. But Maurice Smith, he might be a blind spot for some of you. But for me as a kid, with a pretty cool cable box, I was like a fiend for any and all mixed martial arts. And Maurice Smith was always one of my favorites. So if you're not familiar with him, there's a highlight video on YouTube set to Don't Sweat the Technique. That's really good. What else did I have here? Oh. Since stare downs, I guess, are really hot right now in 2020, this might be like the Illmatic of combat stare downs here. It's about 2 minutes of Maurice Smith. He has on these like baseball outfielder sunglasses on, and Minoru is like staring at Maurice Smith with like murderous intentions. It's really good. It's not 49 minutes like that other stare down that's popping on the internet these days. And I'm pretty glad they kept this clip in. But I picked this match because I found a scan from this match in a magazine that I didn't ask for in a package that I got. And I thought this video was like, or not this video, but the photo was like so good And I've actually seen like Minoru Suzuki beat Maurice Smith in Pancrase with an armbar. So like to see these guys box was like, it was something because Maurice Smith in this clip, he's like at least 3 weight divisions bigger than Minoru Suzuki. And he like fucking pieces up Minoru Suzuki for 3 rounds. Suzuki, he does, end up, hitting an Uraken or a spinning back fist. But, Maurice Smith, he just laughs it off and he does like a Ric Flair cell. It was pretty embarrassing for Minoru Suzuki, seeing as like he's, you know, known as a very, angry, tough grandpa. But overall, I, highly recommend watching this because it is a pretty significant display of bravery from, Minoru Suzuki. And plus, like, he looks really cool with boxing gloves on. And, you know, after watching this, after I saw Nagata and him in the the NJ Cup a couple days ago, he's been a hard man for like 30 years. So kudos to him. I thought this was good. What'd you think?
Oh yeah, so Al originally had some 4-minute version of this match on the mixtape, and then he found a longer one. And I was all about that 4-minute one because, again, with this Pain Pigs that I've been doing every Monday, you check it out on our Twitch, VRTL Pros, 9 p.m. Eastern. Want to watch a couple hours of weird wrestling. It's kind of like my own e-fed that I book with existing matches. So go check it out. But with that, like I'm get so concerned. I'm a time freak as it is. So just about like punctuality and shit like that. But I get so concerned with time because I want to make it 2 hours every single time. So I have to find like these great matches that are like no more than 20 minutes and usually around 10 to 15 minutes. So I was like, I don't want to, now I'm to the point where I never want to watch anything that's 20 minutes. So when Al put like a 20-minute match on, but then a 3-minute match, I was like, sweet. And he added this 14-minute version of the same match, and I was like, God damn it. And the first fucking 18 minutes of this is just like the cornerman putting the gloves on Minoru Suzuki, and it's like, who wanted this? Why is this on the tape? Who recorded this? Why did they cut it out? Why is this going on?
People like stare downs and the fucking ceremony of it all, Mike.
Yeah, I guess so, man, but why didn't this happen backstage? Why are they putting the gloves on them? It's fucking dumb. Also, so I get all these kind of shoot style type things mixed up. I always never remember which one's real, which one's fake, unless I like Google it. And I was like, I'm not going to fucking Google this. I'm going to figure it out myself. The first round, I was like, man, I think this is real. This might be a real match. And then I like at the end of the first round, Maurice Smith does like a little like stare, like kind of like pointing at him and shit. I was like, okay, this is fake. No one would fucking do that. And I stand by that. I hope this is fake because the rest of the match I viewed as fake, kind of rigged boxing match. Even though in the beginning, that first round, it looked like they're whiffing on punches and kicks that didn't seem like they could be choreographed enough to, you know, if they hit, they'd be fucked. But I don't know. Then yeah, at one point, like Maurice Smith knocks down Minoru Suzuki with like a straight, I think, or just like a straight punch right to his face. And like Minoru Suzuki, like he gets up and it's like a cartoon, like he's doing like this weird wobbly dance. And I'm like, okay, this is fucking fake. This is not like no one would ever act like this. But, yeah, I mean, outside of me figuring out it's fake in real time, hopefully it's fake. I don't know. Maybe Al can tell me after this. I'm pretty sure it's fake though. It's an interesting thing. It's not really my cup of tea, but it's an interesting thing as far as thinking about old man, kind of Minoru Suzuki's, who's like has this new life as this guy all the younger wrestling fans like and think he's like above comedy. That see another aspect of him that he did this like worked shoot fight, and not even like just a worked shoot, but like sort of like almost a kickboxing match. It is fake though, Al, right? I'm not making that up.
I'm going to leave you in mystery about this.
Guys, like I said, I've said it on the show before. Don't do any Googling. Don't do any Wikipedia reading when you watch wrestling. Just fucking watch it. Develop your own opinions. Believe it's real, believe it's fake. It doesn't matter. My last match is Ace Romero versus Darby Allin from Limitless Wrestling, 2018. I believe this was recommended by somebody. I don't remember who, because it was fucking years ago. Somebody recommended me this, and I love Ace Romero. I'm not familiar with Limitless Wrestling. I believe it's a West Coast wrestling, possibly in Seattle. I could be getting mixed up with somewhere else, but I think it's like a Pacific Northwest wrestling thing. But this is the first match I've ever seen from this promotion. And the first thing I notice is this venue is, I think it's like a wedding hall, basically, like a place where people probably rent out when they get married. And I think in these trying times that we're living in right now, it's probably not in real life a cramped place, but just because of like how people were packed in and how big this ring was, taking up room in like this banquet area, like it looked real cramped, and it was making me uncomfortable because it's all about distance right now, and I was just like, oh, I can't imagine being in this room right now. So that was making me a little uncomfortable to watch, but it seemed like a unique area to watch wrestling. I wouldn't say cool, but I've definitely seen worse venues on videotape, but this is I don't know. It's a unique venue. MJF is on commentary on this, and this is yet another good thing he's good at is commentary, because he was great on this. The other guy he's with was pretty good too. I think he might have also been a wrestler, but I'm not sure. It's very, very rare these days to have two people on indie wrestling commentary that are both great. So hats off to you, Limitless Wrestling, even though you're just borrowing wrestlers, but still my first impression of your promotion, I thought was pretty good. Another thing I noticed, and I don't know if this is an every time thing for Limitless or it was just this one event, but they had a very old timey ring. They had the red, white, and blue ropes and the big red turnbuckle pads. And I'm very curious to know if that was whether by design or that's all they could rent, because it's just very strange to me to think of being like a modern person and, having this ring built that looks like some old WWF or Rocky shit. Or, but I guess it stands out. But I just think as far as no one really has wrestling rings like that anymore, so I'm assuming this is just like all they could rent. But it was kind of low too. Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if this is their own ring and all they could get was the red, white, and blue ropes with the huge red turnbuckles. And, kind of sticks out. This match overall isn't like, the greatest 5-star match ever. I think people know Darby Allin's deal. Maybe they're less familiar with Ace Romero, but Ace Romero's a big boy. And he's not like, he's not like fucking doing 450s or anything, but he's pretty agile for a big dude. And he usually, at least once per match, at least in AAW, he does a move where you're really worried about his life, where you're just like, man, he could die. Like, 'cause he does some wild shit. He's not like, he's not like Mr. Daredevil or anything, but if you watch the shit he does, at least once a match, he does some fucking death-defying shit. He's just great. He's working with this guy who's like half his size that is known for doing like crazy flips and shit, and it just works. Like they seamlessly work together. I think Ace Romero should be in AEW. I don't know, if they're like looking at him or what, or if that's like on his radar even, but he seems like he should be on a higher level at this point, because I love this dude. I think he's great. Also on MJF at one point on commentary calls him turkey tits, which is a great insult. That is amazing. This isn't like go out of your way to see this match, but I thought it was a great match to see a guy like Darby Allin, Ace Romero battle it out on the indies, because now Darby Allin's a little better than doing indie stuff. So, like I said, I think this is the first Ace Romero match on the mixtape, and I'm a big fan of his, so I wanted to get him on there.
Dude, I think the huge size discrepancy genre of wrestling match, like, that should just be a dedicated mixtape. Maybe, like, make it in the style of, who was that? Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito in Twins? I don't know. I just like that aesthetic. Maybe lead it off with Keith Hackney versus Emmanuel Yarborough from UFC 3. Maybe every single Mysterio versus Brock Lesnar match, because all those are really good. I don't know. It's just like a really good genre of wrestling.
Yeah. That Bam Bam
from this video.
Bam Bam and little Spike Dudley when he throws him into the crowd.
See?
Yeah.
This could be a thing, man. Twins. Think about it. I did learn from this video that Maine is known as the Pine Tree State.
Oh, they're in Maine. That's definitely not the West Coast then.
Yeah. Yes, I looked it up. I was like, what's the Pine, or what's, I forgot why I looked at Pine Tree State. Did it say it on the show? Anyway, this is where Limitless Wrestling is based out of. I'm from Sacramento, and we used to be known as the City of Trees. But they changed that slogan to America's Farm to Fork Capital, which is pretty lame because City of Trees was a slogan that like a lot of weed dealers here they used to back heavy, like all the merchandise that was like, sold out like at a state capital store. It was being rocked, but not for reasons intended. But that's gone now because now Sacramento is known as the Farm to Fork Capital. Whatever, right? But this was a pretty well done, sort of unorthodox, but pretty succinct modern wrestling match. Like you had said, MJF is on the call, and my favorite insult was when he said that Ace Romero had chode fingers, which is really mean. Because maybe he does. That's fucked up. Like he probably can't play piano because of that affliction. But Darby Allin, he does a lot of hurtful stuff, namely the senton that he takes straight up to the fucking chest, and that coffin drop reversal that ends up being a German suplex. This was a good length for a match, and I'd give it a watch. My last match of the night is Tetsuya Naito versus AR Fox, Glory Pro Wrestling 2018. Shout out to Stone Pitbull for recommending this one in the Discord. And I don't think I ever saw the Naito match at AAW with him versus the Hacker Man, Sami Callihan. Were you at this show? Do I have this all fucked up?
No, I can't remember. I moved here and it was already sold out, or it was right before I moved here. I thought he also... Yeah, was it? Yeah, he did wrestle Sami Callihan, yeah.
The only thing I had heard was that Elgin was on the match, and this was like post-cancellation.
Yeah.
And I think people like just turned their backs to the ring, which is fucking funny to envision. I need to watch the show, actually. Sounds interesting. So Glory Pro is an indie group that operates out of St. Louis. And the venue that they're wrestling in, it kind of looks like a 1980s bank. It's like really beige. It's really weird, but I like it. AR Fox, he comes out first, and he reminds me that I bought some cargo pants during these quarantine times that I can't wait to break out for fall. You're more of a 90s kid than I am. Were cargo or carpenter pants a part of your aesthetic during this time?
Oh yeah, for sure, definitely. A lot of painters jeans, a lot of cargo pants. I think I had these fucking, they are so weird camo. They were beyond any camo pattern that was traditional, and they were cargo pants too, and they're like autumn leaf camo, but it was like, I can't even, it wasn't like real tree, it was just beyond anything, and I love those pants so much.
Oh man, they're coming back. Anything with like hammer loops, that's gonna be a thing, dude. I'm fucking pumped. Naito, he comes out in the full white breakaway tuxedo, and this was only 2 years ago, but this was like a reminder that this guy, Tetsuya Naito, he fucking ran it. Like between 2016 and 2018. Like the crowd is like so invested in this match and everything he does. And it's like a sight to see. And speaking of the outfit, like, were you as stunned as I was when Naito decided not to wrestle in a t-shirt? Like, this was like a month removed from Wrestle Kingdom. And for him, like, to now be in front of like 600 fans in St. Louis, I thought for sure we were going to get t-shirt Naito. But we didn't.
Yeah, that was one of my first notes, so I'll definitely talk about it.
Like, overall, like, this wasn't like a super difficult match for Naito, but like, I don't think he mailed it in either. Like, this was pretty good. Naito, he like kills AR Fox with a neck breaker on the apron, and he does give AR Fox, a fair amount in this match. I guess the only negative points for me was, the commentary is not bad, but like there's something fucked up with the audio channel or whatever, where it sounds like one of the guys is like hitting the vape with authority. like in between every single like sentence. It's pretty distracting. But we alluded to it on Twitter, on Instagram, and at the beginning of this show. And someone tries to start an arigato chant. And, this is a nice gesture, I guess. But don't do this. This was embarrassing. And Mike made a sound clip of it, so it is immortalized, but, man.
Arigato!
And then someone shushes them, and then someone, says boo, like under their breath. What a classic. Overall, I thought this was like a worthy watch. What'd you think?
Yeah. So, like Al said, he comes out with his whole suit and he wrestles without a shirt, and it kind of reminded me of that Kenny Omega Phoenix match from Northeast Wrestling from like the end of last year, beginning of last year, whatever it was, right before AEW, basically, where it was just like obviously Naito did ROH stuff, but ROH is still like a bigger production. So these guys are kind of like larger than life to certain people. Not everybody, obviously, not to your average WWE fan, but it's still crazy to see some of these guys from New Japan that are pretty much larger than life to certain people, do these kind of indie matches where, it's not some podunk bullshit indie show. It's not like something at the fucking county fair or anything like that, but it's still like an intimate setting. And I think you do kind of, just because in any other kind of profession or anything, you kind of, you don't go to fucking, like, when I lived in Albany, the Giants did like spring training up in Albany, and you don't go to like, you don't watch Giants spring training and expect them to have like a Super Bowl caliber fucking scrimmage or anything like that. And it's kind of the same thing with wrestling. You don't expect these dudes to come to fucking podunk indie shit and give it their all, but he gave the whole deal. And as Al said, it's not like one of his epic New Japan style matches, but that's what kind of makes it cool too, because it's like you don't see Naito in a normal match anymore. He's not in these kind of normal. I'm not gonna front like a fucking big fan of the Stardust Genius Naito, but I feel like he pulled out a lot more of that shit than he would do normally in a regular New Japan match, because he's kind of just doing a storyless match with another great wrestler. And, so he had to kind of do shit like that to have like a cool match. At one point I don't know, I didn't really see it. My girlfriend was watching this. She usually either goes in another room or just doesn't pay attention, but she actually likes AR Fox. She's seen AR Fox before. She has no idea who fucking Naito is, but, I guess there was a sign that was hung up that said no drinking venue, and she just said no drinking venue. That sounds like a nightmare. And I can't disagree with her, or I can't agree with her more. That does sound like a nightmare. So I'm sorry, Glory Pro watchers. I don't know if this is your regular venue, but that sounds like a fucking nightmare. Also, the Origato guy, she was like, is that racist for him to say that? And I was like, it's kind of racist, but I don't think he meant it in a racist way. And she's like, okay. And also at the end, he even, just like Kenny Omega did at the end of the Phoenix match, Naito gave like a little speech. Like, he doesn't really need to do that. People are just happy to see him. I don't think I ever watched the AAW match, and I didn't watch I think the Revolver was the third match, the third promotion he did in that little weekend. I don't think I've ever seen those matches. I assume it's the same shit where he does the speech and blah, 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 but it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool to see these guys on this level. Cause, I don't think you're going to see a John Cena or even like a Roman Reigns or anything like that. So, and, there's even few people in New Japan that are on this level where you could be like, oh, that's so cool to see them doing these kinds of matches. So yeah, it's pretty cool. Even if, it's not, the most amazing match ever, it's still worth watching just to see a guy like this in a setting that, you're rarely ever going to see him in.
Huh. Naito wrestled Elgin in Revolver.
So it was Elgin in Revolver and then Sami Callihan in AAW then, I think.
Correct.
Yeah.
I did have a question, though. Did your girlfriend get an email from Brandy at AEWheels.com?
No, she's still waiting. She rings it up every time I watch AEW, and Jake the Snake pops up. She's like, they still haven't answered my email, I guess, because that guy's still working. And I'm just like, yeah, it's fucked up. I still haven't asked her who she actually emailed, but just gonna leave it a mystery. Like, again, no Googling, no looking up the Wikipedia. Just let your mind go.
Check the spam folder. It might be in there. Who knows?
I should. I gotta tell her to check the spam, because who knows? They probably have a spammy type of email. I'm gonna have her check as soon as we wrap up. I'm gonna go ask her.
That was episode 112 of That World Champion Sound. Hit us on Twitter and Instagram at VRTL Pros. Join us on Discord. You can find a link to that Discord, I believe, on either IG or Twitter. If you want to ask us any questions, if you want to participate, if you want to send us a mixtape recommendation, hit us at virtualpros64@gmail.com. Mike, any last words?
Hey, don't be a selfish asshole when you go to public places. Wear a fucking mask, you jerk.
Wear a mask, donate, do what you can. Let's just be better, everybody.
Yep.
See you guys in 2 weeks.